Welcome back to the Kerbal Space Program. In our last episode we launched our first part of the Laythe rescue mission, and today we are launching our refuel vessel and we're going to dock it together with the Laythe lander in the orbit around the Laythe. So here I am waiting for the launch window to joule. It's going to take some time, so I'm going to cut this part out. See you when the launch window is ready. And here is our refuel vessel. It shall also use the same fuel to travel to Joule and get into the orbit. And we're back. Our ship is launching from the launch pad. Everything seems to be normal. Staging is going as planned. And we're going to speed it up to 8 times normal speed, because it is the usual launch which we've seen many times already. See you in the orbit. Because we're using our nuclear engines for our last part of the orbital entry, we'll have to improvise a little bit and move our orbit a little bit upwards instead of just going sideways and gaining orbital velocity. But it is not going to stop us, and we're going to happily orbit around the Kerbin in no time. And here we are. Our orbit is achieved, and now we're just going to create a maneuver node which will bring us close to Joule. Here it is. The first attempt wasn't very successful, and now we're going to tweak it to make sure that our periapsis isn't millions and millions of kilometers away. Here we go. We can even get some kind of encounter with Laythe, but we're not going to bother because we can fix it on our way, and it will take us not too much delta V nor time. And we're starting our 5 minutes burn, which due to magic of video editing and time warp will take you only a couple of seconds to watch. And here we are. Because we were using nuclear engines, we started our burn at not exactly the right time, and now we have to tweak it, because otherwise we are not going to encounter Joule. But that's not a big deal. All we have to do is create another maneuver node and use it for course correction. Now we have a lot of time warping to do, and I'm going to cut this part out to make sure that it is not boring and doesn't take too much time. See you when we are going to cross into Joule's sphere of influence. Welcome back. We are in orbit of Joule, and now we are going to make our encounter with Laythe much more appropriate. As in, we are going to lower our periapsis and make sure that we can aerobrake around the planet without much of an issue. Our maneuver node is ready, and we are going to execute it, lowering our periapsis to approximately 18.5 kilometers. An altitude at which we are able to aerobrake successfully and not waste any fuel on doing so. And here I'm transferring all the fuel out of the side engines into the central fuel tank. I'm not exactly sure why I'm doing it, but I think it will make the ship more stable by moving the center of mass and mass itself more to the center of the vehicle and not to the sides of it. We just have to do a little adjustment of our periapsis, and we're ready for the aerobrake. I think that 18.5 kilometers should be enough for proper aerobraking without landing and without actually escaping the orbit of Laythe. And it is indeed enough, except that our orbit is highly eccentric, and we have to fix it a little bit to make sure that we are more or less circular. To do that, we are going to aerobrake a couple more times around the planet. First, we're going to raise our periapsis to approximately 40 kilometers, and then we're just going to continue orbiting with our apoapsis falling down each time, and in the end we'll have a nice circular orbit. Because this process will take at least a couple minutes, I think I'm going to cut it out, and I'll see you when we are ready for our final approach to the Laythe lander. Welcome back. As you see, we are currently in a nice, almost circular orbit around the Laythe, and now we are going to proceed with our docking maneuver. To do that, we first have to fix our inclination and match it with the Laythe lander, and then we have to match our orbits and create a close encounter. Here we are creating a node for the inclination change. And successfully executing it a minute later. And now we'll have to change our orbit to make sure that we intersect the orbit with the station or lander, and then we're going to dock with it. So first we're going to lower our periapsis, and now we're going to raise our apoapsis a little bit so that we are not going way faster than the lander is going around. And now we're just going to wait a little bit to make sure that we are in close encounter with the lander. So now orbits are almost matched, and now we just want to get to the closest encounter possible, for example here, and kill our lateral velocity in relation to the lander. Do the same process here. And our encounter is looking good. It's only a little bit over 2 kilometers. And now we're just going to complete the same procedure again and again. Slowly making our encounter closer and closer. In the end, we want to be approximately 50 meters away from the target, or less. As you can see, our craft is not very maneuverable and doesn't turn very well. Regardless, we already got closer to 1 kilometer, and we're going to continue our approach. Here we are crossing the 500 meters mark, and again we're going to kill our lateral velocity to make sure that we're approaching directly to the target and not somewhere in the distance. And we are at almost 300 meters. Let's turn around to make sure that we can kill our velocity. 150. And less than 100 meters. And let's do the final burn, leaving us at approximately 40 meters away from the station. No, lander. So what we're going to do now is we're going to orient our fuel towards the lander, switch to lander, and complete the docking maneuver using it. Why we're going to use the lander? Well, it's very simple. Lander is much more maneuverable and is easier to control. And here we go. Our maneuver is complete. Now we only have to transfer the fuel, and the work of our refuel vessel is done. Unfortunately, it's not only the time to end the work of our refuel vessel, but also the time to end this episode. Thank you all for watching. Remember to like, dislike, and comment this video in the section below. My name is Darlock, and I will see you in the next episode, where we will land on Laythe and return our brave Kerbal home. Goodbye.